Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. So, in case you can't tell where we are, we're in a temple. But which temple? That's the question. We're in New Vrindavan, and we're here with our wonderful, beloved friend, who's now a resident of Vrindavan, New Vrindavan, Jagamohini Mataji. She's been in one or two.
What?
At least
You've
one.
been at least one.
Yeah.
Yeah, bites.
Yeah.
So
One bite.
one bite. She had one bite.
Rationed.
Right. So we're going to be reading. Where are we reading from?
Canto 3, Chapter 33, Text 13.
Lucky 13. Okay. You can see there's some guests here behind us.
Randomly started.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, text 13. Can you see it?
Yeah, just.
No. As instructed by her son, Devahuti also began to practice bhakti yoga in that very ashram. She practiced samadhi in the house of Kardama Muni, which was so beautifully decorated with flowers that it was considered the flower crown of the river Saraswati. Purport. Devahuti did not leave her house because it is never recommended for a woman to leave her home. Oh, she is dependent.
No.
The very example of Devahuti was that when she was not married, she was under the care of her father, Swayambhuva Manu, and then Swayambhuva Manu gave her to Kardama Muni in charity. Oh. She was under the care of her husband in her youth, and then her son Kapila Muni was born. As soon as her son grew up, her husband left home. Oh dear. And similarly, the son, after discharging his duty towards his mother, also left. She could also have left home, but she did not. Rather, she remained at home and began to practice bhakti yoga as it was instructed by her great son Kapila Muni. And because of her practice of bhakti yoga, the entire home became just like a flower crown on the river Saraswati. Interesting. Controversial. What do you think about women staying at home and not leaving?
Yeah, I'm not at home. Well, I'm at home in the temple.
Yeah.
But I'm being protected within the temple under the guidance of temple president. So.
And Radha Vrindavan Chandra.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then after her son was born, her husband left. That must be the origins of husbands walking out and having a kid. That's true.
I don't think so. I think his walking out was different than what most men walking out do these days. But you have anything else constructive to say? Since we're in the temple reading Bhagavatam.
I can see Tulsi Manjari in the background.
So?
No.
Well, actually, I guess this is one of those things. Like recently we had one young lady come to the temple and she did find it quite controversial. Perspective and angles on how women are treated or spoken about, ladies. And it's a challenge because I guess in the modern day, it's seen as everyone's meant to be, independent to do whatever they like. But the whole principle of things like this around ladies is actually meant for their protection and their care. They're considered the fairer sex, and men are actually meant to be chivalrously protecting ladies in that way. And also, as Bhagavad Gita explains, that ladies have a specific function, which is they they bring progeny into the world. That's such a special capacity or capability that they have. So therefore that needs to be protected, because men in general are actually the unscrupulous ones, and they take advantage of that, and they manipulate ladies who are generally considered innocent, although when Prabhupada says they're less intelligent, people think, oh, they don't have the same, brain capacity. But no, the point is that they're actually more innocent, and because of that, men who are unscrupulous can take advantage of them. Therefore, they're meant to be protected by their father. Then they're meant to be protected by their husband. Then they're meant to be protected by their son. So ladies are always meant to be looked after and be protected. But unfortunately, in the modern day, that protection is seen as manipulation, and or possibly could be manipulation sometimes, because we are in Kali Yuga. And so therefore, it's not really seen as something that's positive. It's derived as something that's negative or derogatory, when actually the whole point is that they're meant to be protected and looked after. So I think that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to see also out of Krishna consciousness, actually ladies are looking for protection. Because I'm just looking at like situations like with my sons. So the ladies are actually they are looking for protection. They are wanting marriage and all these things, but for some circumstances it's not happening in this way. So it's all like upside down, really. But we are also looking. The ladies are definitely looking for protection.
Very nice, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they don't, in whatever form that looks like to them right now. But when you see, they are all, if they're honest, they are looking for protection. But it's
true.
It's that sort of like ego bit, isn't it? I'm independent. I'm just as good as the men.
Yeah.
And actually, I was in the airport. Where was I? In Pittsburgh, and I was watching a firefighter, two firefighters, one a lady and one man. And she was struggling with all the equipment. And I'm like, because she wants to be like same as a man, but we haven't got that capacity or strength. So I was thinking, well, she's going to suffer. She's probably suffering actually, but this one I just going to be a firefighter. She hasn't got that capacity. And we were speaking about that here not so long ago about it. One verse came up and we was like churning it, and it was like, we have to see that the man is more stronger than a woman.
Yeah, it's just natural. The physique is different. Of course, it's not an absolute thing, because you get like weak, scrawny kind of men. I'm not like such a strong man, compared to some. But
as we see as a society, it's supposed to be like that. Yeah. And also that men are more logical, women are more emotional.
Yeah.
So they need that support.
Yeah.
Because we don't make sometimes the right decisions.
Well, let's look at that in context. Right decision means they make a decision based more on emotion. Whereas man will make a decision based on logic. Whether it's right or wrong sometimes remains to be seen, because all the logic in the world, sometimes it's good to make a heart decision. I think even in the modern day, people discuss, what is it, that there has to be a balance between, what are the two things?
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. Hey, Bhagavan. No, and I had it, but your yin and yang just yanged me out. No, basically between the heart and the mind. But there's two terms that intellect. No, it'll come to me. But anyway, there has to be a balance between those two, and it's not that just because someone is overtly logical. So men are always encouraged to be a little more emotional, and ladies may be encouraged to try to think a little more logical. But so to try to find that balance, which is why theoretically the combination of the two is good. And you would think that you would have the masculine energy in a family, which would generally be the more logical, rational, get things done, and you would have the mother, the loving aspect, the caretaker, the person who gives care. The father would generally be the disciplinary And the mother will be like, it's okay, your dad's just, you know. And what was it Prabhupada said, that we have to have the heart, the courage of a British soldier and the heart of a Bengali mother.
Yeah.
I like
It's
that.
quite an interesting thing, because I'm probably more not of the heart.
You're more British soldier. Yeah, so these things are also not.
I'm working on it.
I think it's the same with her, actually. No, I'm all heart. Everybody knows that, right? Right.
But on the text, on going on to this verse, it's like, you know, like they're Vaishnavas. So when Prabhupada says when one becomes a Vaishnava, it's different because we're on the soul platform rather than on the bodily platform. We're all looking at bodily platform.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're showing this is how we, you know, they're giving us how we should behave.
Yeah, I'd like to. That's a really nice point, but I'd like to take that. You know, there's the spiritual aspect of our consciousness and our understanding, but then because we're in a material body, there's the cultural aspect of how we implement it and how we live in society. And it's not always easy, especially because you try to implement culture in the middle of an age of degradation. But I mean, I think because we're also talking about devotee care here, and it's all about finding that balance between being spiritually alive and then being materially properly situated. Because if we're not properly materially situated, then we're in such anxiety.
Frustrations.
That how can you actually be, you know, fully focused for spiritual life? You know, so it's I guess again a balance type of thing. But yeah, like you said, the truth is we're all spiritual beings. We're all connected with Krishna. So
I was listening to Prabhupada's class just this morning, and he was talking about the body being like the wrapper.
the what?
A wrapper. You know,
A
not
wrapper.
Like not rapper.
Yeah.
You're like the body
you know,
is a wrapper. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Like say you have a sweet or something, it has a wrapper and inside is the sweet. So he was talking about the body's like the wrapper and then inside is the spirit soul. So it was really nice.
So nice.
Yeah.
So we're unwrapping.
Unwrapping the layers
The layers.
to get to the nectar.
Yeah.
Okay, should we try one more?
Is it long?
No?
Yes, yeah.
You have enough time, Jagannatha?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be alright.
So, but it's hard for you to read. You can
I
read
got
if you
no
like.
glasses.
Okay, all right. So I'll read. So this is text 30, what is it, 13? 14.
It's all blurry.
She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling black hair gradually became gray. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments. Purport.
That's high in philosophy, right? That's good though.
It is the practice of the yogi, brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi to bathe at least 3 times daily, early in the morning, during noontime, and in the evening. These principles are strictly followed even by some grihastas, especially brahmanas, who are elevated in spiritual consciousness. Devahuti was a king's daughter and almost a king's wife also. Although Kardama Muni was not a king, by his yogic mystic power he accommodated Devahuti, very comfortable in a nice palace with maidservants and all opulence. But since she had learned austerity even in the presence of her husband, there was no difficulty for her to be austere. Still, because her body underwent severe austerity after the departure of her husband and son, she became thin. To be too fat is not very good for spiritually advanced life.
Oh dear.
Krishna.
So victimized.
Rather, one should reduce, because if one becomes fat, it is an impediment to progress in spiritual understanding. One should be careful not to eat too much, sleep too much, or remain in a comfortable position. Voluntarily accepting some penances and difficulties, one should take less food and less sleep. These are the procedures for practicing any kind of yoga, whether bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, or hatha yoga,
Oh.
or vacuum yoga, which looks like it's about to
Like it's
happen. Hoover yoga. Okay, so
Wow.
we went from one out of the frying pan and into the fire.
I feel like Prabhupada's talking to me. Oh dear. I better take this instruction to heart.
Yeah, okay. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
No, it's not that you don't sleep, like you become
Yeah,
crazy, you know.
it's the verse, yukta hara viharasya, yukta chaitasya karmasu. Yeah,
So you have to balance. But we all need different levels of sleep. So if we judge, oh, that one sleeps 4 hours, I'll do, then you're in trouble as well.
This is showing a level of advancements in spiritual life, right? This is like, you know, what we strive for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it comes like when I was thinking about when you come into Krishna consciousness, when you're practicing, you know, all the things like meat eating and drinking, all these things, they go by themselves. So similarly, like when we're practicing these, all good qualities come when we're actually practicing, isn't it? And you're realizing, okay, this is happening and that's happening.
Yeah,
Naturally comes, you know, but at the same time, you know where you're, what you need as well, without sort of like pushing it too much that you're
Yes. Burnout.
burning out, and then that's it. Well, where were you? Where was I?
Yeah.
And this is why you need, like, also, like, she took shelter of her son and her husband, where they could guide her, and this is what this is showing, like the teaching. It's like a spiritual teacher. So we have, like, you know, it's like friends that can just help us. I have this problem. Can you help me? What do you think to that? You know, association of devotees.
yeah,
true.
very powerful.
And then when you, it's like, you know, like when I was first coming to the temple, I was like, I want to go into the mentorship, and then you were saying, oh, see Bhava Bhakti, and then I saw her on the reception, and like, I want to go into a mentorship. So by that, it was, yeah, you know, you get you just want to see yourself go a bit more into the Krishna consciousness. You're enlivened, so you want to progress.
Yeah.
We only, you know, actually before we came and started filming, there was nobody in this room.
It's true.
Hardly anybody.
Yeah.
And now the corner where we're filming, it's like Waterloo Station.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like being in the city of London.
Hare Krishna.
We have a Hoover.
Wherever you read the Bhagavatam, it just attracts the. I mean, actually, this is a. Sorry, you were going to say something? Did you have something? I was just thinking that this point, of course, you know, one may take offense. Yeah, you know, Prabhupada's mentioning you shouldn't be fat. Okay, is there an easier way to put that? But in general, I remember when the MP of Westminster came to visit us in Soho Street, and you know, we asked him, you know, how can we serve the community better? And his advice then was that we should open more restaurants. And I was thinking, oh, is that like I said, that sounds like a bit of a financial thing. He said, no, I wasn't thinking financially. He said, actually, the biggest problem that society faces, and especially as government officials, is dealing with the health of the community. And he says that most people are unhealthy, therefore we spend so much money in health care. And he says and then he said, everyone knows that a vegetarian diet is the healthiest diet. And so he was encouraging, and I'm pretty sure that he mentioned, you know, you have things like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, you know, things like this. So people are just unhealthy. So it's true, and a prasadam diet is the much healthier diet, or the healthiest diet, because it's karma-free diet.
Yeah.
But definitely people do have different constitutions,
Yeah.
you know, kapha, pitta, vata, you know. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, I know one devotee, he's so vata, you know, the doctors, the Ayurvedic doctor told him to just eat spoonfuls of ghee with every meal
It's really thin.
and drink milk, and still, you know, and you know, I remember one devotee, he used to sit down with a plate of prasadam like Govardhan Hill.
Bit like me then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. And he would never put on any weight, you know. And then there's some people, they put on weight, they just look at opulent prasadam. So it's like
Yeah, I
that,
had one
so.
work colleague, same bodily constitution like that, and the GP said she had it. This is instructed by the GP. Just eat one Mars bar, you know, a day, and we used to sit together at work, and it would be chopped in half. I said, "Hurry up! What are you doing?" She could only eat half,
Wow.
and I liked chocolate, but I was thinking I could polish that off, and and even then she could only eat half. But she was instructed by the GP, you have to eat one a day. Can you imagine getting that instruction?
One
Of
a
course.
day of Mars bar, wow.
Because she was really skinny,
Yeah.
she was, and it was burning up very quick, you know. So she had to put on the weight.
Of course, then there's the other side that, you know, people are so, especially in the modern day cultures with obesity, they're so afraid of being obese that they go to the other extreme and they become anorexic.
Yeah.
And that's actually like also a serious disease, you know, where persons are just so overtly bodily conscious that they're just, you know, I don't want to, you know, and then so.
We can see in the six Goswamis, like, isn't it? Like they were so absorbed in Krishna's, in Lord Chaitanya's in his life, that, you know, they didn't need so much.
Didn't even eat.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I guess in this way it was like her. She was, I want to be, you know, I want to do this,
Yeah.
and she was so absorbed that actually Prabhupada says in one class, he said, if we're so absorbed, we're in a constitutional soul position, that actually the reason why we're eating is just to keep the body going, because spiritually we don't
Don't
it's
need
not,
it,
we
yeah.
don't need it.
Yeah.
But because we're so attached to our body, it's like we do.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Feeling attacked in this reading. I need to absorb myself more.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I think we'll finish with that.
On that note,
Mother Jagal Mohini needs to go and
she's dressing tonight.
dress Shri
for
Shri Gauri
Nitai.
Nitai this
Yeah.
evening. So wonderful service here. Maybe if you're lucky, Bhava Bhakti will put in some.
It will be on the Bhakti Vision
Oh yeah,
blog.
Bhakti Vision. So we'll give you a link, and we'll also
I'll
give
do
you
a
some
blog on
information about New Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So
Please
anyone
come.
who wants to come and visit, you come and just ask for Mother Jagal Mohini.
Yeah, say you watch this vlog and then she'll go.
Yeah, she'll give you a Maha Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki
Jai.
Jai.